Well, it has been our top story, so we wanted to bring you guys all of the answers. So we're joined by BBC reporter Vanessa Clark. Vanessa, good morning.
Morning.
I mean, let's start at the very beginning. What is RAAC and why are schools being told it's dangerous?
So RAAC stands for, or AAC, so it's reinforced autoclaved aerated concrete, so it's a bit of a mouthful. But basically, between the 1950s and the 1990s, many public buildings used this type of concrete. So if your school was renovated or built during that time, it may have had it. Now, it's a little bit lighter than traditional concrete, which is very hard, so it's a little bit more likely to crumble. It also only lasts 30 years, so can wear. So any school that has RAAC in part of its building has been asked to close that area until it's been made safe.
I mean, what is the picture looking like across the UK?
Well, in England, as you said, there's around 147 schools with RAAC. That might sound like a lot, but there's 22,000 schools across England. It's a small proportion, but for those schools that are affected, it's really serious. And 4 of those have had to close altogether, and they've had to go back to online learning, which we all know what that was like during the pandemic. In Scotland, it's around 30 schools. In Wales, it's 2 so far, and more checks are being carried out there and in Northern Ireland. But as more structural surveys by engineers take place in different schools, that figure might increase a little bit.
I mean, a big question that a lot of people are asking right now is, when did the government know that this was a problem, and why is it being spoken about right now?
Well, yes, in 2018, so 5 years ago, there was a school in Kent and it had RAAC in part of the building, just around the staff room. Now, that crumbled and thankfully there was no one hurt and there was no one there at the time, but the government started to take it very seriously and started to give schools advice. This summer, there's been a couple of more incidences a bit like that, and the government have actually changed tack and they've decided to make their advice a little bit stricter, saying that any school that has RAAC in part of that building, that has to be closed until it's been made completely safe.
I mean, big final question for you now. What happens now?
Well, it's going to take a bit of time for those schools that have RAAC for builders to come in to get it fixed. So some schools will end up with temporary classrooms and things like that. But everyone's priority at the moment is to make sure everyone in school is safe. So everyone's taking this really seriously.
Well, Vanessa, thank you so much for joining me on The Sofa this morning.